Hey everyone, Cori here. So I'm here today to do some book recommendations for you based on the theme of our November box, which is Through the Enchanted Forest. Now, a couple of months ago, I did a recommendations video like this where I really leaned into a specific word, and today I'm going to do the same thing, and I have some books to recommend for you that either have the word forest or the word wood or woods in the title, and so these can be any genre, any age range, whatever have you. They just have to have the specific word in the title. I just think it's fun to do recommendations this way, and it just gives you a little bit more of a broad range to choose from. So the first book I'm going to talk about is a previous OwlCrate book, and that is The Hazel Wood by Melissa Albert. This is such a unique book. It is about our main character, Alice, and she has been raised with her mom kind of on the move, and her grandmother wrote this mysterious book called Tales from the Hinterland that's full of creepy fairy tales and stories. And then one day her mother gets kidnapped and she is just told, don't go to the Hazel Wood. It's really twisty and dark, but it's such a fun and interesting story. And we actually recently found out that we're getting a sequel to this book, which we didn't know when this book came out, and I'm really excited for that one, and it comes out in just a couple months, so I can't wait to get my hands on it. Next up is one of my favorite Holly Black books, and that is The Darkest Part of the Forest. I've talked about this one recently as I read it quite recently, but it's about a girl named Hazel and her brother Ben, and they grew up in a town called Fairfold, where they kind of know that they live side by side with the Fae folk. And in this town there is a boy, a Fae boy, who is sleeping in a glass coffin. And then one day something involving Hazel happens and the boy in the coffin wakes up. I really like this story. I absolutely flew through it. Thank you to the person who told me about how it crosses over with The Cruel Prince, because it does, just a little bit. You don't have to read this one to read The Cruel Prince, but I definitely think it's a story worth checking out. Next up, I have something completely different. This is an adult mystery thriller, and that is In the Woods by Tana French. This is the first book in the Dublin Murder Squad series, and it's the only one I've read so far, but I really liked it. It's about a police detective named Rob, and when he was a child many years ago, he was involved in this mysterious crime in which him and two of his friends went into the woods near their house, and he came back, but the other two were never seen, and he has completely no memory of what actually happened. It's very eerie and creepy, and then it's about 20 years later at the beginning of this book, and it turns out another crime has been committed and a child's body has been found at the exact same spot as what happened to him when he was a kid, so he gets involved in the investigation. It's very spooky. There is one scene in here in which he sleeps in the woods by himself at night to try to get his memories back, and I was like, no, it's so scary. But it's a really fascinating novel. If you like police procedural novels, this is definitely a series you're going to want to check out. Next up is another creepy book, and this is a graphic novel, and that is Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. I was flipping through this in preparation for this video, and I forgot just how scary this book is. Maybe read it with the lights on. It's definitely one of those. It's I believe five interconnected stories that are just so eerie, and the art style is really incredible, very bloody, and it's not YA. Oh, actually it is YA. Sorry, it's on the back. It's by Simon & Schuster Teens. So it is a YA, but it is on the scary side, just so you know, but it's bloody and scary and just a delight, and it'll take you through the forest. Next up, I actually have a short story by Sanderson, and that is called Shadows for Silence in the Forests of Hell. This is, I think, the very first Brandon Sanderson short story that I ever read. It's available in the Dangerous Women anthology edited by George R.R. Martin, or you can also get it as an ebook now, so you don't have to go buy an anthology to read the story. So this one is set in the Cosmere universe, and it is just this creepy little story set in this place in which all the homesteaders in the area have 3 rules, and it says don't kindle flame, don't shed the blood of another, don't run at night. These things draw shades, and shades are these spirits of the dead that can obviously cause some harm. It is quite a short story, but it did really suck me in, and I do recommend it. Next up is one that doesn't have forest or wood in the title, but it does have trees, so we're counting it, and that is And the Trees Crept In by Dawn Kurtagich. I read this for my first ever spookathon a few years ago, and it's still one of the spooky books that that I think of to this day. It's about sisters Scylla and Nori who get sent to live at their aunt's house in this big creepy house in the middle of the woods. And something's amiss with this place because every day when Scylla looks out the windows in the morning, she notices that the trees have gotten a little bit closer to the house. It's very eerie and very spooky. There is a mysterious man with no eyes that Nori can see but nobody else can see. There's this boy that has come to the house from the woods but he has a mysterious past. It just has it ticks all the boxes for me. It's super creepy and I definitely recommend it. And my final recommendation for you is another graphic novel. This one is one of my favorites. I haven't talked about it in a while, and that is Sweet Tooth, Out of the Deep Woods by Jeff Lemire. This is the first volume, and this is set in a world that is described as The Road meets The Stand. So The Road is the novel by Cormac McCarthy, and obviously The Stand by Stephen King. A decade ago in this world, something called the Affliction happened, and it killed billions of people, and the children born since then have been like human-animal hybrids, and people are hunting these children down and killing them. At the beginning of the series, Gus, who is our main character, is living alone in the woods after his father has passed away, who had been trying to protect him, and kind of a bad man named Jeopard finds Gus and takes him with him, and he tells Gus that he's going to take him to somewhere called the Preserve, where he will be safe. It's very dark. It's quite violent. Again, it's an adult. This is an adult book, but it is a series that I think people know about it, but more people need to pick it up because it's definitely just one of the most interesting and unique worlds that I've ever read. Alright, so those are just a few recommendations from me that feature the word forest or the word woods in the title. If you have any other recommendations for me, please leave them in the comments below. I love playing with title tropes like this. It just makes videos like these a little bit more fun. Alright, if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more. Happy reading, and thanks for being awesome. Bye!